Boom. Let's get Facebook in here and we can start the show. Rock and roll. 1 and 2. All right. Welcome in. It is another Victory Monday. Eric, that's 10 out of the last 11 weeks. The only reason we haven't is because the bye week. And the Broncos sit there first place in the AFC still. Obviously, AFC West. Knocking the Chiefs out of the AFC West title contention. And boy, it's been a great run, but it's about to get a whole lot harder for Denver coming up for these final 4 games, maybe, in theory. So good morning to everybody in the chat. I'm Nick Kendall along with Eric Trickle. Apologize for being a little bit late. The kid woke up for some reason, like between 1:30 and 3 a few times, and I woke up on top of my phone at 6:25. I was like, bleep, we got to go. Maybe it was 6:23, so I made the stream, and I'm like, here we are. But thanks for bearing with me, Eric, as I'm just glad to be here. My internal alarm went off, and so for the love of the game, it was calling me. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just a fair warning, if I suddenly disappear, it's because the wind here has been crazy. We're actually on a wind advisory since Friday. I know a little bit farther north, they've been dealing with 90-mile-an-hour plus winds, including somebody's house getting blown completely over because it was poorly made, I'm assuming. But one of the Walmarts in the valley, is the area we call it, had their roof blown off. So the wind has been absolutely nuts here. And earthquakes have been insane. Fortunately for us, it's been farther east, where they've had 164 earthquakes in the last basically 30 hours, including a 7.0. They've been absolutely getting rocked. So anybody in that area, hope you guys are staying safe. It's a small area, so I doubt we have anybody listening, but hopefully everybody's staying safe. But yeah, I'm doing good. It's great to be here on yet another Victory Monday, as you said. But you did also say that it gets tougher on here, and I mean, there's no potentially about it. Denver has the third toughest remaining schedule left. Like, it is tough. They're all, or what, 3 out of 4 are playoff teams, and the fourth one, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Fortunately, they've been eliminated from playoff. They've been eliminated from AFC West title contention, but they still have an opportunity for the wild card spot where they can squeak in at like 10-7. It's like only a 15% probability, but still possible. And with the Chiefs, you never know. So it's tough remaining out, but you know what? We can get looking ahead here in a little bit. Right now, it's time to talk about sweeping the Raiders again and the victory that we came off of yesterday, which was, I think, one of the more complete games Denver's offense has had.
Yeah, it's definitely was good. I was at DNVR. They invited me to do a watch along live, so that was fun to talk to Benny Fowler, and he's a good guy. We talked a lot about Big Ten. I think he was just pumping me up. He said Kinnick was the best. I'm gonna twist his words a little bit. I'm gonna say that he said Kinnick was the best stadium he ever played in, but he said Kinnick was like special and the energy was crazy. And I was actually at the game when Michigan State came to Iowa and beat the brakes off of Mark D'Antonio's team there. So it was good to hang out with them, and yeah, fun to watch the game with people in Denver. A lot of times I'm on the couch, maybe the kids around a little bit, and I can't be as locked in or enjoy the vibes, but vibes were high. It was almost, I don't want to say like sleepy is like a negative connotation, but Denver controlled this game so much. There was never a point where my heart rate was elevated at all. Maybe the Marvin Mims touchdown run, just because it was exciting that RJ Harvey won in the first quarter too, but Denver just controls the game. I know they only win by 7 on the scoreboard, but this was a much more convincing game. I'm a little bit annoyed because it's going to be another game in the 1-score game column, but like this was anything but that. I mean, I know that's technically it was, but that last touchdown, they're playing very conservative defense. That one against, I don't know who caught it, but was that a Riley Moss issue? Or was that a Hufanga issue? It looked like cover 3.
That was a Riley Moss issue. He was expecting safety help in it when Brandon Jones was coming down and Hufanga was playing towards the right. And Moss was expecting help inside, and he shouldn't have been. There was no, the look wasn't giving him help inside.
Okay. Again, I didn't have whoever was commenting on the game. We were commenting ourselves, so couldn't tell. But Moss definitely looked around like, what the heck? I was expecting somebody there. So I don't know. But overall, I mean, it's hard to take away almost anything from the defense. Like, I'm still as worried as I was in the Commanders game because the Raiders are so pitiful on the offensive line, can't run the ball. some of the big questions we had about this Broncos team. But all in all, Denver took care of business. And just like we're going to take some care of some business in here, saying hello to everybody in the chat. And I want you guys in the chat to also take care of some business. Click the thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, become a member, all that good stuff. Be on your best behavior. Our beautiful producer looks like he may have found a girlfriend, but he's out Friday and today, having a good time out in Disneyland. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be giving away too many details, but he's not here, so I'll give him a hard time. He'd be blushing if he was here. But you guys be on your best behavior. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Dave Glassman, Victory Monday, always a little sweeter, beating the Raiders. Eric, if I'm not mistaken, that is 4 in a row versus the Las Vegas Raiders. We beat them twice last season. We definitely beat them twice because of the Patrick Surtain pick 6 game and the beautiful old school ones. They beat the Raiders pretty good on the road. That was the game where Bo Nix hurt his back and he had the crazy eyes video that everybody loves so much. Probably my favorite play Bo Nix gif or anything. But he says, I'm not afraid of anything, something like that, or anyone. And then we have the 2 wins this season. So nice little streak. It's good to be on the other end. It's been a bit. I mean, we had actually a pretty bad losing streak versus the Raiders there for a bit. So the universe feels to be, correcting itself a little bit, at least in the football world.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if they won one of the ones in 2023 or not, or if the streak's more, but I know it's at least 4 games. And it's always great to beat the Raiders. And during that losing streak we had, man, it was tough because it's not like the Raiders were a good team during that. It's just Denver just couldn't squeak it out. Fortunately, part of that was Josh Jacobs, who always seemed to just have one of his best 8 games of the season against this Broncos defense, just always had their number, which is concerning coming up on next week, but we'll get to that later. So it's always nice to beat the Raiders, and it is this one. Denver definitely controlled it from start to finish. There are some, and I actually wrote an article about this that should be coming out today. There's some cracks in the armor with this defense that are concerning going forward. Fortunately, we saw them last week against the Commanders, and Marcus Mariota did a good job of taking advantage of it. Thankfully, Geno Smith and Kenny Pickett weren't able to fully take advantage of it. But, I mean, with the onslaught of quarterbacks you have coming up, it's concerning, and hopefully this defense can get things figured out and get things corrected. Otherwise, it can make for some long days for this defense. But again, this Raiders game, it was a good one. It's always good to beat the Raiders. It's good to extend that winning streak. It's good that, we don't have to worry about it because, going back again to that losing streak we had, Raiders always acted like their fans always acted like it was a Super Bowl victory for them whenever they beat the Broncos. And my mentions and everything would just be full of Raiders just talking all sorts of crap. And, well, thankfully I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's also the Raiders are kind of pitiful now, like the fan. At least I don't know if you saw the shout out to Mark Davis for building a satellite stadium for the Broncos. It looked like 70% Broncos fans in there. And one thing I love about Denver going to orange, more so as the primary, is that, boy, does it pop in the stands. If you're wearing navy blue, it's a little muted. No offense, I'm wearing navy right now, but the fans in the stand wearing the orange, it's like, oh my God, there are so many of them. I remember I went to the Elite 8 college basketball tournament when I was in middle school, and it was Michigan State versus Tennessee. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's so much orange. And our orange is much better than the Tennessee. My dad would call it puke orange, but just got really tired of Rocky Top over and over again. But we're not even Michigan State fans, but whatever. But no, it was great to see Denver do that. And again, now shout out to Mark Davis getting rid of the Raiders were bad. They had a home field advantage in the Coliseum in Oakland. I mean, that was a rough place to go as a visiting fan and teams. Field was not good. I mean, they needed a new stadium, but now they've made it in Vegas. It's a lot of luxury boxes. It's a destination city. They just have no teeth anymore. And what a big advantage for the Broncos and the Chiefs going forward too, because the only stadium I can think of that's even a little more sleepy in terms of the fan vigor and intimidation is the Chargers stadium out there in LA. That one also just kind of snooze fest. So good for Denver.
And one thing I would add too, with it being in Vegas, I don't know about everywhere else. I can only speak from here. It's very cheap to travel to. It's about, it's about half cost to travel to Las Vegas for me than it would be to go to Denver or even Seattle. it is very cheap to go to Vegas, which makes travel there for opposing teams fans much easier. And it's closer to Denver, so
Mhm.
it's makes it a little bit easier for Broncos fans to travel.
Maybe we can convince Chad to have the meet and greet next year in Vegas. That would be debauchery. I don't know if he'd go for it, but that would be some pretty good time. I got David Youngkin coming in saying, any news on Ben Powers when he's coming back? We're on Ben Powers' watch, I think Wednesday this week. He traveled with the Broncos to Vegas this week, and boy, it would be good to have him. The Packers did, I think Wyatt suffered a season-ending injury, a pretty significant one, and he'd been their best interior pass rusher on that unit. So we're not necessarily like, Palczewski. He's been playing admirably, I think is the word we'll use. Like for an undrafted guy who's playing the left side when he's more comfortable the right, like bless him. It hasn't been like a total disaster. He's been hanging on, but he's been obviously the weakest part of the unit, and I'll be excited to have Ben Powers back. Really want the Denver Broncos to kind of establish a little bit more of an FU run game. And this is going to be a great test for the Broncos with the Packers. This is by far the toughest defense they have left of the season. They are, I think I heard Tom Brady say yesterday that the Packers are have the lowest yards after catch per reception in NFL history this season. They fly around. They are probably the fastest defense in football as well overall. So yeah, the screen game, the dump downs, Denver's going to have to hunt a little bit more than the Raiders in this Raiders game, where they could just constantly take what they gave them. I know the ADOT looks comical for Bo Nix, but when your guys are making plays and you're possessing the football like Denver was, that's a winning formula. But like you got to push the ball a little bit more against the Packers, because you're not going to have room or time to create yak as much. At least I wouldn't expect so. But Ben Powers, Eric, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Packers are going to be tough, but Ben Powers, I'm not expecting him back for this game. Doesn't mean he won't be. I think I would probably put it about like, I don't know, 25 to 35% chance he's back for this one. It's a good sign that he was back traveling with the team. He's been working on the side field going back to last week, but they haven't opened his window yet. But Denver this year, normally Sean Payton prior to the season, they'd opened the practice window the week before they came back. But this year, whenever they open it up, it's been that week that they've come back and they've fully activated him off injured reserve, put them back on the roster. So he's on watch this week. I would expect the Jaguars game more so than the Packers game, but it's entirely possible. But we're getting close to that return, which is needed, because you say admirably for Palczewski, which it's admirable that he's out there on the field, but he's been awful. Like he's made it very clear that he's not a starting guard in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm still sad that Nick Gargiulo got hurt, because I think he had some flashes out there, and potentially, I mean, if he would have been healthy and Powers goes down, maybe we have a succession plan in place. But I'm kind of maybe wish casting that, but we'll see. Good player, Gargiulo, and hopefully he comes back healthy next season. We have that depth, because we'll see about Ben Powers' contract as well. If not, I'm going to be banging the table for some offensive line, probably in the draft, Eric. We'll see. I don't know how much you've gotten into the draft yet, but I can't pronounce his name. The Penn State left guard. Oh man, he is a freaking unit. He's an absolute wall. And again, I said earlier, I want an FU run game. Kind of starts with the offensive line, and specifically the interior offensive line. It's kind of like teeth has been taken a little bit out of the Lions this year, because their interior offensive line not so good. You still got Gibbs being incredible, but they can't run at you like they could. So we'll see. Michael Ronquillo, our guy, always one of the big super chat givers. Hope you're doing well. Michael says, good morning, Nick and Eric on Broncos for breakfast. He also says, hit those thumbs up to support the Mile High Huddle podcast on YouTube. Become a member of the Mount Rushmore support group. Go Bo Broncos. Go Michael. He also says, happy Victory Monday. Good to see you. And Michael's saying he's going to be back for the Jags. We'll see. You have the Packers, Jags, Chiefs, Chargers, the next 3 games, 3 of the 4 at home. I would love to have him back against the Packers, but he hasn't had his practice window, I think, even officially. Is it officially opened yet? Because he was on the field.
No, they haven't officially opened.
It is not officially open. So that makes me think it'll be the Jags game as well. But we're on watch, right? Like that's we'll see what happens. Good to see. We got our guy String Guy coming in here. Good morning, all. It was a great victory and fun to watch. Yeah, again, my heart did not get up at all. Broncos had an opening drive touchdown that took almost 10 minutes. It was their first opening drive touchdown, I believe, since week 2, Eric. And Bo Nix actually played pretty well in the first and third quarter in this game. he's been statistically, one of the worst quarterbacks in football in the first and third quarters. He's been freaking nails in the second, and especially the fourth, but first and third, he struggled. Not this game. And that's a underrated Raiders defense. Now, maybe things are kind of falling apart a bit over there, and, 1-2-3 Cancun for some of those guys. But yeah, Denver, that game went, other than like the very end, kind of, that last touchdown drive, that game went like how a Broncos team of this caliber should be treating a Raiders team of that caliber.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I think that the first Raiders drive was definitely concerning.
Yeah.
It was just consistent moving the ball down the field. It was very much what the Commanders game, which gave me slight worry for it that, they were going to allow it, but the Broncos, they were able to adjust a little bit, and, they changed that. And then you have that Kenny Pickett to Cedric Jackson touchdown where Riley Moss just played it terribly, touchdown there. And then the late field goal, but it was a good game from this defense. I wouldn't say a great game. There's still plenty of concerns. And the penalties are one. They continue to be a bit of a concern. They've allowed, I believe, 3 first downs of this game off of penalties. And they already lead the league in them at 2.8 per game. So got to get that corrected, because we can keep talking about these future opponents that are coming up, the Packers, the Jaguars, Chiefs, Commanders. You can't give them free first downs. They will make you pay for it. And as I said earlier, the cracks that this defense is showing, those are much better offenses to take full advantage of it, especially with some of the weapons that they have. The Jaguars, they seem to have found their missing piece in Jacoby Myers, because that offense is clicking, and they've been great since they traded for him from the Raiders. And then the Packers wide receivers, they're all healthy and back out there, and they just can throw so many different looks at you with what they have. So hopefully the Broncos and Vance Joseph are able to figure it out.
Yeah, I think prior to this week's game, it might still be the case, but from the trade deadline when they acquired Myers to the week before this last game, the Jaguars were number 1 in the entire NFL in success rate in the drop back game. So very consistent. Trevor Lawrence is playing good football, and the run game seems to be clicking as well. The real key piece, I mean, it's not just Jacoby Myers. They also got Brendan Strange back, who has been really important for what they want to do. I remember they took him kind of a smaller 6'3" tight end out of Penn State, but he's been really well weaponized for that Liam Cohen offense in Jacksonville. So adding those two guys, ETN looks like got eyes on ETN. Broncos have probably got to pay a running back this offseason. So I wish the draft was better than it is at running back for the top 100 picks from what I've seen, Eric. You might be able to replace running back 3. I'm looking for front of the line carries, running back 1. Yeah. I don't know how many of those guys there are, but good to see a string guy. David says, finally watching the game now. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you. String guys, I think Denver looked in control of the game from start to finish. It was a very workmanlike victory. Peyton has been playing winning football, and Denver again, dare we think Super Bowl year. We'll see. I do think that you want to avoid the I know they have lost again. I still don't want to play the Chiefs in the first round, Eric. So I really want that bye. It feels like the first 6 teams, it's like 6 of the seeds are locked up in the AFC, I would say. I'm not sure about, who comes out 7th, but you're going to have Patriots, Broncos, Jags, whoever wins the AFC North, Bills, Texans. There's 6 there. So you have 1 more left. You got the Chargers, Colts, and Chiefs. If it's the Colts or Chargers, like I'll be okay taking the 2 seed. I don't want to play the Chiefs. I just don't. I've been also tweeting too much bait out there as well after they lose, kind of teasing their fans and the people, oh, Chiefs win another hypothetical game last night. Put them first in your power rankings. It's great. Yeah, I know. But I don't want that to come back around. I don't want freezing cold takes on my butt. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Super Bowl, but luckily we get a preview slate of games that, like Denver, it'll impact what seed they are right now with the Colts kind of imploding. Denver having the type, although if they implode and they lose that head-to-head to the Jags, I guess the 3 seed is still on the table for the Broncos rather than the 2 seed, because the Jags are in first place in their division and 2.5 games back, 3 games back.
Denver could also end up as the 5th seed.
If the Chargers,
Depending on what happens with the Chargers, that's still entirely possible.
I think that goes to bed tonight. I think the Eagles beat them down.
They need the Chargers to lose 2 games.
Yeah, I think the Chargers' schedule is pretty tough down the stretch here. I can't imagine the Chargers winning.
I don't think the Chargers will, but it's still possible.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at. So it's still possible they can end up with the 5th seed. But the best thing with it, when we're talking about the playoffs, the Broncos control their own fate. We don't have to rely on anybody else for seeding at this moment. As long as Denver wins out, they are the 1st seed. That is settled because they own the tiebreaker over the Patriots for that 1st seed, or for that within head and common opponents. Denver 6-0, with the Patriots being 5-1, having lost to the Raiders early in the season. As long as the Broncos win out, they have the 1st seed. They controlled their fate. We've had years last year, they controlled their fate and they struggled to close it out. Hopefully we don't see the same thing this year. And, they're able to just take advantage of the fact they control their own fate.
Yeah, we got Mark Schrader here. I wanted to give Mark a special shout out. He's one of the just great guys in our chat. A lot of people love all you guys, but Mark, always super kind. And I saw he put out there on Facebook yesterday that Joan, his wife, is facing triple bypass next week. And it's been a stressful week for him. So shout out to Mark and Joan and keeping them, if you are the praying type, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Love you, Mark. You're, again, one of the great ones, and always love you coming in and saying hello and really thinking about you and your wife during this time. So appreciate you so much. I do want to say hello to a few more people here real quick, and then we got to get to little business. Appreciate Jamie coming in and said the Chiefs eliminated from the playoffs are just a division right now. They're definitely in play for the 7 seed. We got Stay Country coming in here saying, what's up? Good to see you. Mark Kennedy, our guy. Jay Brew, let's go Broncos. Love the energy. And Eric, I'm going to challenge you. We need some energy for this ad read from our sponsor today, Cash App.
Yeah, so the holidays are all about finding the perfect gift, but this time of year, not every deal is actually what it seems. Scammers are getting more creative to trick people into sharing their payment info through methods like fake shopping sites and giveaways that are too good to be true. Luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual card activity. Should someone gain access to your card, so you can act fast if something seems off. You can also lock or unlock your Cash App card instantly right in the app for extra control and peace of mind. Stay one step ahead of scams this season and keep your money secure with Cash App.
For limited time only, the new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download Cash App and use our exclusive referral code, SECURE10, in your profile. Again, that's SECURE10. Send $5 to a friend, and within 14 days, you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member of FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a blocking incorporated brand. Visit Cash App. cash.app /legal/podcast for full disclosures. Fumbled the end of that one a little bit. Shout out to Cash App. Again, SECURE10. Use that code. You support them. You support us. We appreciate you guys. More people coming in here. Jay Bruce says, like that kind of fun game. Yeah, me too. We got Justin coming in saying, hey, Nick, cool to see you on DNVR last night. Starting to feel like something's starting to come together with this team. Yeah, it definitely does. Thank you for the shout out. It was a lot of fun hanging out with those guys in that area. It was packed in the bar too. And I downstairs, unbeknownst to me, one of my fraternity brothers was down there rocking out his bear stuff, but I came down. I'm like, what the hell? So he lives out here in Denver as well. He saved my butt when we first moved out here because it took a month for our furniture to get here, and he let me borrow a air mattress. So shout out to you, Stevie. I appreciate you coming in here. Good to see you. One of the good ones. Good to see you. We got Sterling the Corgi coming in here. Oh, man, Corgis are so cute. I got a golden, but I do love Corgi. So does he. How do I feel about Green Bay? I was on a show a while ago. They asked me what's the toughest game remaining on the Broncos schedule, and I said Green Bay, just because I think that's a top 3 team in football, and I think their defense specifically matches up really well for Denver in a negative way for the Broncos. You have to be able to hit those intermediate, middle of the field shots against them, really timing oriented. You'll see a lot of zone, and you have to be able to run at them. A little bit of duo, some power action. If it's anything that's like side-to-side football, they are just banshees, man. They got Edger and Cooper, Quay Walker, Micah Parsons as well. I'm honestly scared to death about how Sean Payton deploys Bo Nix, Eric, because there's so much side-to-side pocket movement. And if Parsons is a looper on that, I mean, he closes space faster than anybody in the – maybe Cooper, I think Benito's probably got better initial get off, but the closing of space of Parsons is probably the best in the league. And he delivers some unbelievably violent hits. So I like this game in the pocket, vertical play action dropbacks. Like I'm not giving Parsons any angles unless you have to break glass in case of emergency. But yeah, I think this is a tough game. And I think Vegas also, I mean, Denver's won 11 in a row at home. They're at home. From what I saw on ESPN as the Bronco game closed yesterday, maybe it's changed since then, but it was 2.5 points. Packers favored. So home dogs for a number 1 seed in the AFC, Denver Broncos. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think I saw this morning that it's moved to 3.5-point favorites for the Packers, I think. Which, I mean, the Packers are a threat. They do play a little bit worse on the road than they do at home. So maybe that, home field advantage can come into play for Denver here. If I recall, the Packers have lost two of their 4 games and have their tie on the road, or only lost one of their few games and tied on the road. Can't remember exactly for sure, but I know that some of the wins that they've had on the road have been a little bit tougher, a little bit closer, and they've managed to just eke it out. But of course, there's other variables in play. Injuries, they've been pretty banged up on offense throughout the season, and that plays a factor in it. And I mentioned this earlier. Their wide receivers are all back and healthy, and they are a threat with what they can do at you. So this is the most concerning game left, probably followed by the Jaguars. I think these next 2 games, are the toughest of the last 4. And I predicted earlier in the season, or before the season even started, 13-4. And if they get to that point, it's because I think they lose these next 2 games. They're just they both are tough. They're both also still pushing for something, right? Like you got the Packers. Yes, they have their division lead right now, but they want to secure that. The Bears are right on their heels. And then you have the Jaguars, who are trying to fend off the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts for their division title. So they'll have a lot to be playing for. So does Denver, but it always makes those games tougher. These next 2 games are the ones that I'm most concerned about. I think the Packers one is the toughest, though.
I think it's about $300 to get in the gate for the Broncos-Packers game. Packers fans do travel, but I expect that to be a playoff atmosphere. I think it's going to be very charged, and it is Toyotathon. I don't know if you follow the Jordan Love joke, but during Toyotathon, he's best quarterback of all time numbers. So we'll
it's
see.
Similar to, you mean it's the opposite of Kyler Murray when the new Call of Duty game comes out?
Call of Duty for Kyler Murray. Yep, exactly. So that is that doesn't mean anything to me other than he plays well in December. But yeah, right now, statistically, he's probably top 5 in the MVP hunt. I don't know where he's at in the Vegas odds, but I would imagine, quarterback with good numbers on a good team, probably up there. Jonathan Taylor's fallen off. JSN's kind of fallen off a little bit too. It's probably, if I had to guess right now, the top 3 for the MVP is probably Matt Stafford, number 1, probably the clear favorite. Given the media stuff and everything and the Patriots being number 1, probably Drake May's 2. Not that he deserves it, Eric. I know that you have opinions on that.
That's not what I'm laughing about.
Yeah. And then probably it's Jordan Love 3. Am I missing anybody, you think? Is there somebody it's a quarterback award, unfortunately. I know JSN was playing. You have to be have an all-time season at receiver or running back to break it. And they kind of fallen off the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Oh no, I would definitely disagree with who is what the top 3 would be, but it is what it is. Those are probably the top 3. It is a quarterback award, unfortunately. So yeah, that's probably what it is. I was just laughing at the fact that you got your Drake May comment in, as you have to get every single Broncos for Breakfast show.
Drake May is actually number 1 according to Vegas. He's the odds-on favorite right now, which is pretty crazy, man. I hope we get Drake May versus Bo Nix in the playoffs. I hope that's a long-standing rivalry for the Broncos. But your odds are, I was right about the top 3. I just had 1 and 2 flipped. May's number 1, Stafford's number 2, Jordan Love 3, Josh Allen 4, Dak Prescott 5. So you don't have Bo Nix make it in the top 12, but is what it is. So yeah, it's quarterback award in the end, it seems to be. But we got Jamal coming in here. Good dub morning. Good to see you. I don't know if I got that one yet. Benjamin Flores, morning men, 10 straight wins is tough no matter who you are. I don't know if you remember, Eric, the show long ago, after the Broncos beat the Eagles. I'm like, I'll be more impressed if they rattle off these next 4 in a row than one single game against the Eagles. No way did I think they'd win 10 in a row in the freaking NFL. Like, that is hard. I know they set a record last week, winning 4 games in a row by 3 or less. Never had happened before in the NFL. So maybe there's a little bit of like, what's the word? It's not replicable for the Broncos as a formula to win games long term, but it's got you number 1 in a very open AFC. So hopefully they can hold on to that. And people call the Broncos fakes, phonies, whatever, not true contenders, and still, call out the Chiefs or the Bills, even though they obviously have fatal flaws. But it's this next 4 games, Denver takes care of business, goes, let's say even, Eric, like 3 out of 4 in these next ones. Maybe if it's in a 2 out of 2, like let's say the Chargers game, Denver's seed is already locked up by the time they play, then they lose that one. Especially if they're playing the Chargers the next game again, like they have the 2 seed locked up or something, then whatever. But we'll see. Yeah, keep up the great work and go Broncos. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Bronco 97, I hope we get another wide receiver in the draft free agency. Troy is getting on my nerves. Yeah, I mean, Troy's been a useful rookie contract wide receiver 3 or 4 type. But Denver really needs another guy in the pass game. Doesn't necessarily have to be a wide receiver. It could be a tight end. It's just for every tight end that's that level of play, you have like 5 wide receivers. So just probability speaking, it's more likely a wide receiver. But yeah, I expect Denver to be aggressive for adding a pass catcher this offseason. I think you're good with Harvey as your like lightning to somebody's thunder at running back. My most obvious expectation is they're going to pay a running back this offseason. I'm trying to manifest Tyler Algier, like a 3-year contract that's essentially a 2, and just let him ram between the tackles and duo when you have Harvey coming in for the other touches. But yeah, wide receiver, probably a wide tight end as well, but we'll see. Offensive weapon is definitely there. There's multiple pathways, though, for especially the draft for the Broncos along the trenches as well.
Yeah, so if you're going off of snap counts in the latest game, Troy Franklin is wide receiver 5.
Wow.
So he had 19 snaps on the day. Marvin Mims had 20. I don't remember exactly how many Little Jordan Humphrey, Pat Bryant, or Cortland Sutton had, but they were all up there. So he's definitely, it's getting harder for him to see the field. The fact that he doesn't offer anything as a blocker, and they're really leaning that way from their wide receiver room, hence why Lil Jordan Humphrey was brought back and why he saw so many snaps, why Pat Bryant has continued to get, a higher percentage of snaps and even more looks as a receiver, is because of what he's doing as a blocker. But as you said, I expect Denver to be very aggressive, looking for a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 type player. They have plenty of available cap space and cash to do it. They're, even after the extensions, they're still sitting at $40 million in projected cap space. And it's probably going to be closer to about 45 when we get the actual cap number, because the projections are always a little about $5 million short of what the actual cap space is. So they have plenty to work with. And, they still have plenty for, some other extensions, which John Frankenmeyer still needs to be. It's at a point where, they don't have to, cut players for salary cap purposes. Looking at Ben Powers here, they don't have to restructure contracts, even though that is always on the table for it. So they have plenty of cap and cash to work with to go out there and get themselves, that added wide receiver. I think they're going to be very aggressive with it, either through free agency or via trade. I think they're going to be very aggressive with getting a inline tight end, some that they're very clearly wanting to get. Mercedes Lewis outsnapped Evan Ingram in this one.
Wow.
Adam Trotman was the tight end leader for snaps. So I think they're going to be very aggressive. Adam Prentice had more snaps than Evan Ingram did.
God bless. I think Sean Payton's been listening to the pod.
So it's been problematic there. So I think they're going to be very aggressive looking for an inline tight end that can block. I think they're going to be very aggressive looking for a running back 1 to bring more of that power than to Harvey's Lightning. I would expect them to do all of that in free agency and then look for depth pieces and replacement pieces down the road in the draft. But I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Sean Payton kind of hinted that this is going to be a very offensive focused offseason. Because I think he was asked about I think it was a question about Malcolm Roach's extension. And he just kind of made a comment about how we can still work on the offense here, in the next offseason or 2 or something along those lines.
They need another offensive weapon, and they need to keep the offensive line top 5, top 10 in the league. I think those are both very imperative for the Broncos. Really interesting numbers there, Eric, because also I don't have the snap count in front of me. I haven't looked yet, but this felt like the most 6 offensive line looks the Broncos have had in weeks as well. Like Crum was out there at least 8. I was going to say at least 5. And I don't feel like that's been as much of the game plan. So you have that on top of Prentice and Mercedes Lewis trying to get a little heavy. I don't know if it was something that was Raiders specific or if it's something we're going to see going forward as well. So I think the Packers defense is actually a little better when you have the condensed formations because they can play a little bit more games with their pass rush and hide Micah Parsons some, where if you are more spread oriented, you have to move bodies out of the box. So we'll see what the Broncos do against the Packers. So we got Gatorade Gaming. Good morning. Great to see you. Jermaine in the house. Good morning to 11-2. Let's go Broncos. Robert asked about a good article about the playing turf and how it could affect games. I don't have one for you. But I know that the NFLPA or NFL constantly puts out papers or studies that there's no difference between grass and artificial turf. But I think, when you make as much money as the Broncos do, or the league in general, you should give the players what they want. And I also wonder if being exposed to the fields in Europe is going to change things as well, because they are cutting edge. Like they don't mess with that as much. Granted, it's much more like control matters so much more in soccer because it's not as much mash pushing, sliding going on. So we'll see. But yeah, that's a good question. I know that the NFL would say there's no difference though. Keith coming in, Victory Monday, on to Green Bay. We got a Killer Monger, my hero, saying Denver, we come in for that rematch. Go Texans. Very possible. I mean, you guys are playing great. I know Scott, I retweeted it. Scott Casimir, I think is the name. He gets a lot of haters on Twitter, but sometimes I post things out there just to be provocative. But he said that this Texans team has a chance to be the 2015 Broncos more than this Broncos team, which I think is fair because this Broncos team actually has a pulse offensively and an offensive line. Like, don't go back, and I don't want to call anybody out specifically. That Broncos 2015 offensive line was not good. And obviously that Denver 2015 defense is better than this one, but we'll see. Texans defense is great, but Denver beat them on the road. So now Davis got hurt. We were without Patrick Surtain. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Beat him. You had the home field advantage. I don't know. Davis Mills went on to win more games after that. You didn't beat him. The Texans are 8-5. And I'm not here to argue counterfactual for hindsight. Maybe we can, prognostication going forward, but the results are the results. I'll say the same thing about the Broncos losing to the Chargers and the Colts as well. Like, no, you didn't win. Sorry. Like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Rob Bucksbaum, good to see you. Appreciate it. Nervous for Green Bay. I'm not picking Green Bay yet, but I think Green Bay is their toughest game yet. We got Dominique in here. It's good to see you. Keep rolling, Broncos. Chase, I think Chase might have been in the chat for the DNVR live stream as well. I think I recognize the mountain picture and the name as well. So let me know if you were. Let me know if I sounded like a fool. Also, more so than I do on here. I have a reputation to uphold. Comments are getting wild. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's also talking about the top 3 from ESPN. I went to, I don't know which draft site or betting site, but it was one of the bet sites. So I just go off of Vegas lines on that one. We got Clyde coming in. If Denver wins this week, Pats lose, I think we win the AFC. Certainly possible. The Patriots play. God, I hope the game gets flexed to Monday night, Eric. Patriots host the Bills this week. So luckily it's not on the same time as the Broncos play. So that one's going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of focus about the Patriots and the schedule remaining. I still think that there's 2, maybe 3 games that can still be a little bit tough for them, even though the opponents aren't necessarily tough. You have the Bills, you have the Ravens, and you have the Dolphins. All of them could have something to be playing for. So I think they might be a little bit tougher than you would expect looking at it on paper. But the Broncos schedule, it is still, tougher. And as I said earlier, it's the fate's in their own hands. Broncos just got to win out, and they get the number 1 seed. They don't need to worry about what anybody else does. Obviously, if they lose, that changes things. But it's just all in the Broncos, and they are coming off their complete game. And, they just won their 10th game, and we barely talked about this Raiders game and what we saw out of this Broncos team for it. We've been talking about the Packers more.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it kind of shows what we thought about the Raiders, right? I mean, to get in the stats, I was actually just thinking the same thing, Eric. I got to pull up at least some. I know the Broncos absolutely dominated the time of possession in this one. Despite it being 24-17, it felt more like a 24-10 game. Denver 40 minutes of possession compared to the 20 minutes for the Raiders. No turnovers. Still frustrated about that with the Raiders, or for the Broncos defense. Denver rushing for 152 yards. I mean, really, 200 passing yards, 152 rushing yards. Like, give me that every time. And then 72 plays to 48. The only thing you can really complain about is Denver only averaged 4.9 yards per play. Like, you want a little bit more juice if you can help it there. You want that to be closer to 5.5, 6. I don't know if Denver had many explosives in this game at all. I don't even know if they had an explosive pass play, and Prentice might have been the only explosive run. But you get the special teams touchdown, you control the ball, and the Raiders score some who cares points at the end. I mean, this was a great game for the Broncos.
It depends on what you call explosives for running plays. I know some places go 15. I know others go 10. They had 4 rushes of over 10 yards. But I think one of the big things talking about this running game that I absolutely love to see, outside of Marvin Mims's one run, Denver had every player, Bo Nix, Tyler Badee, Jaleel McLaughlin, Prentice, Harvey, all at least 50% success rate. Like, they were getting it done on the ground. And what's great too, looking at this with RJ Harvey, I've been very hard on him. He had a 70.6% success rate, which is absolutely great. He saw a stacked box 76.5% of the time. On this season, he has averaged 2.9 yards or 2.9 yards per carry against stacked boxes. He was at 4.6 against the Raiders. Sorry, I had my numbers off to the left, so I had to take a look at him. So he got the job done against a stacked box, and which the Raiders, obviously, they love to stay in it. And that was great to see. He was just doing well. And I think the big thing, there's been a lot of conversations about what's been his issue. And some people like to highlight vision, which is very easy to blame for running backs poor performances. I think the bigger issue is he's struggling to adjust to the speed of the NFL game. He's seeing the holes. He's seeing his landmarks. He's seeing, where he's supposed to go. He's just being a little bit overly patient trying to hit to it, and the speed of the NFL game just makes him pay for it. And then this one, he was just getting upfield and just going and taking what the defense was giving him. He only had 1 negative run. So it was a great game for him as a runner. And it was one of the first games where he showed as a complete player. Against the Commanders and the Chiefs, he stood out a little bit more as a blocker, but he had a couple big blocks in this one against the Raiders. And then he also added in the running game. So with how hard I've been on him, I got to give a major hat tip to RJ Harvey for how he did this. This was by far his best game as a pro.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the basic stats for RJ Harvey, he had a heck of a game. I mean, he wasn't like a workhorse necessarily, 17 carries, but he also came down with 6 of 6 targets for 25 yards, including that really awesome first down. Broke a tackle and made a play pass at the line of scrimmage, and then could have been tackled for a loss-ish area and broke a tackle and got the first, helped that drive alive on that first one. And he ends up with, like you said, 56% rate, 39% first down rate as well, 1.4 EPA gained in this game. Denver, 55% success rate on the ground, 35% first down rate. I mean, I know he only had 4 rushes, I think. Yeah, but Jaleel only had 4 rushes, but 22 yards, 5.5 yards per carry. I mean, up the middle, he had a pretty solid game for a small role as well. And then shout out Adam Prentice. I mean, I know that I've been, missing Nate Atkins, but Prentice is kind of obviously more fullback than Atkins, a little bit more F with some fullback usage too. But I'm excited to see what both those guys in there could be looking like. And yeah, I feel like we got infiltrated by opposing team fans in here, so we're gonna get out of here not too long. But the rule always is, you can come in here and spout your stuff, but we're not here to trash talk, low IQ, elementary school playground kind of stuff. If that's your bag, then I'm sure there's a platform for you, but we're here to hang out and talk ball. And I feel like we're not super biased. I mean, we obviously Broncos slanted on things, but we're as tough on them as anybody out there without being, upholding our preconceived notions, maybe like some of the big media out there. We got a good Mormon from Nick and Eric. Good to see you, Roy. I just wanted to tease you. Where in the heck did Prentice come from? Not a lot of teams have been using the fullback, but he's been great for the Broncos overall this season. And obviously they had Burton, who was good for them beforehand, like useful Probably a little better on special teams from Burton. He was a pretty good special teams player for the Broncos. But no, yeah, it's been really good to get Prentice out there. I'm hoping that the usage of Prentice in the run game can start to open up some of the explosives down the field in the play action game. I feel like we didn't hit on a shot in this game that I can think of. I don't even know if there were any shots taken, really. I haven't looked at Bo Nick's spray chart yet, but I mean, his average depth of target was 4.7 yards, which looks like it's about a 5th percentile game on the season, or historically for the NFL. And you're going to have to be able to hit some more shots versus the Packers, Jags with how they play as well. Chargers, in theory, you may be able to nickel and dime. It's harder to do that. Obviously, explosive plays really matter in the league, but yeah, definitely next week. So we'll see. Prentice has been great for Denver, and God, I hope they can run like this the rest of the season, Eric. If they can run like this did against the Raiders, who were like 14th in DVOA or something like that, like, okay, Denver's got a chance in the AFC. Like they already have a chance, but like my big concern, obviously Bo Nix can be a top 10 quarterback 3 games in a row. We'll see. I don't really want him to have to do that without a run game, and that's what it was looking like. They run like this, boy, we got a good chance in every single game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it was like a great running game that they got against the Raiders, but it was more than good enough. Like it was a good running game, and it was enough to take the pressure off the passing game. It was enough where the 4.7 average depth of the target for Bo Nix with only 2 attempts at 20 or more yards, where you can live with that. And it's just, and he kind of touched on it after the game. He's like, somebody asked him about being a game manager, and he made a comment as like, it's not a negative, like necessarily when things are going right and you have to resort to being that and you can still move the ball and still win. Like, I'm fine with being the game manager with that. And that's what Denver kind of not necessarily needs, but I think that's what Denver would like to have. But still, as you touched on, being able to hit some of those explosives off of it. And one thing with Adam Prentice specifically, it's nice that he's giving them more of a power element because they don't have it. I guess RJ Harvey really is bigger than J.K. Dobbins. It was mentioned again in this game, and I don't see it when you look at them side by side. Dobbins definitely looks a little bit bigger, but it was nice to see if Harvey is bigger. It was nice to see that power translate and that size translate with the broken tackles. It's like prior to this game, it seemed like he was pretty consistently first hit, he was going down. There was multiple broken tackles in this one, and that was really great to see from Harvey. This is the running game that the Broncos need going forward at the very minimum. Like, obviously, if you can get more, great, but this is the minimum of what they need out of the running game.
And he is, for not being so utilized in the pass game at UCF, he's got very natural hands. Like, I don't think I ever see him fight the ball. Like, I remember a lot of people talking about, like, Philip Lindsay, given his, like, stature, like, why don't we flex him out and use him more in the pass game? And it's just, he didn't always look the most natural. Like the process of bringing the ball and then transferring that into becoming a runner after the catch. Like Harvey brings it in and it's like one motion while he still has momentum going forward, assuming the pass is in the right area. Now he doesn't have a big catch radius. He's 5'8", so it has to be, kind of in the area. And you're not seeing him going up for like contesteds or anything. Maybe at some point you see him flexed out and utilized some, but we'll see. But right now, he's with how much Sean Payton uses 2 running backs, like he's definitely with a bullet, one of your top 2 because of the pass game stuff that he's providing. He's doing better and better in pass protection as well, Eric. I know he had that huge one against the Commanders last week. I thought he held his own in this one. Also, now granted,
he had a big one on Crosby in this one.
Big Crosby. Was it a one-on-one or was it a chip?
I think it was a one-on-one. I think Mike McGlinchey just let it hit Crosby go as he was down blocking, and Harvey came up and took out his legs, and Nix was able to. I think he escaped out of the pocket and made a play from there, but it was a great play by Harvey to take out the legs of Crosby.
I mean, he's not necessarily like, massive frame, but like for the height, like the BMI, like he's decently well built. So yeah, it'll be, it's really good to see him starting to come into his own because obviously other than Bo Nix, there's no player that's probably more important for this stretch run for the Broncos than RJ Harvey, because nobody else is coming to save them. Maybe Tyler Algier next year. Maybe J.K. Dobbins conference championship game, but
at the earliest.
At the earliest, yeah, and if at all. We're going to wrap it up here, producing Ernie Mays. Go Broncos country only. We're 11-2, 10 wins in a row, and we got the Packers next at our house. Let's make it 12-2. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if Denver did lose to Green Bay. Out of all the games that are left, this is the one that's like the most palatable for a loss. But man, I feel like the conversation will be once again like, oh yeah, Denver's a phony. Is everybody in the AFC West a phony then? If that's your bar, then so be it. You know, stick by it if that's the case, if that's the bar for you. Although everybody's going to be talking about Houston after this one, but after they won last night, granted, you know, you're playing third string offensive tackle and you're without, was Trey Smith was out too, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, that's, you know, is what it is. But I mean, you know, am I annoyed that the NFL media is going to be crowning the 7 seed Texans when Denver's won 10 in a row? Maybe a little bit, but I'm not going to let that outshine the fact that Kansas City's imploding and 6-7. I'm not going to say it, Eric. I almost did. I stopped myself. See, it's like a syndrome, but I stopped. So I'm not going to make you end the podcast by saying a Gen Z, Gen Alpha thing. But seeing the Kansas City Chiefs collapse, seeing the Broncos win 10 in a row, officially end the Chiefs 9 years in a row AFC West dominance. And God, it'd be great to just knock them out of the playoffs outright. We'll see what happens with these last few games. Denver, I mean, again, 7-point game, 24-17. It felt more like a 24-10 game. Really don't. I mean, let's see the defense against a real test. This one felt like Denver took care of business. They didn't show too much, really, either. Nothing too crazy, and they took care of an opponent that they're better than. So shout out to them. Shout out to Marvin Mims, first punt return for a touchdown in his career, I believe, as well. So awesome. And let's get the defense to tighten the screws a little bit here. I think they definitely have that ability going forward, and they're going to have to against a pretty good Packers team, especially with the way those weapons are starting to come together for the Packers as well in the wide receiver room now that Tucker Kraft is out for the season. So we'll see. It'll be a great game, and just very happy to have the Broncos where they're at, man. It's good vibes right now and feeling really good. And yeah, Chris talked about it too. 3 drives lasting more than 8 minutes. The Broncos possessed the freaking football in this one. Let me see how many drives in this one. Only, oh my God, Eric, I didn't even know this. Only 7 Broncos drives in this one, and you still come away with 24 points. So that's a pretty good average overall.
And it was the first time since they started keeping track of this, which was in 2000, where a team has had 2 drives that lasted 8 or more minutes that ended in touchdowns.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's probably a really good formula against high-powered offenses. I don't know if we play any more high-powered offenses. I mean, the Packers are, I guess, to somewhat, but you know, that's what you're gonna need against the Bills. Honestly, this is the Bills game. You do this against the terrible Bills defense, hell yeah. Like,
I mean, you can do it against tough defenses. You can do it as well and play on wearing them out. So it's effective, but it definitely is more so suited against, you know, high-powered offenses that you want to keep on the sideline for longer. But it's effective against good defenses to wear them out and, you know, try to build off of it and look for the explosive plays from being exhausted. Something that, you know, a lot of teams have looked at doing against the Broncos. Look at the Commanders. They wanted to keep the Broncos defense on the field for so long to try to wear them out and look for the big plays later.
Oh man, well, big game next week. Glad to see the Broncos get that one. If anybody has a beat on any tickets, I can provide commentary if you let me sit next to you on that one. I will only be slightly annoying. Yeah, Chris, thank you. Broncos fans, yeah, I'm in the Denver area. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Makarakio, good to see you. We got some score predictions coming in here. Money's in the house. Happy Victory Monday. Good to see you. And yeah, Gatorade Gaming says Josh Jacobs always wears us out. I really like their backup running back too. He's been pretty good for them this season. When Josh Jacobs has been dinged up, I cannot picture his name. I think he went to NC State, but he's more of an upright runner, but he is honestly pretty good as well. I have him in one of my 12-team league because he's my handcuff for Josh Jacobs.
Emmanuel Wilson.
Yeah. I was like, Aaron
Fort
Wilson?
Valley.
Where?
Fort Valley.
That's where he went to college?
Mm-hmm.
I've never even heard of it. God bless him. Well, shout out to Fort Valley. Shout out to you, Eric. Great show. We got time for me to get to work as well. So appreciate everyone coming in here. We'll be live again Friday morning to preview this Broncos game. I'll be back Tuesday evening with Carl And it's always a lot of fun. Make sure you guys are following Eric and I on Twitter. Eric is at Eric Trickle. I'm at Nick Kendall, MHH. We're also over at Mile High Huddle, Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle, and Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. If you haven't done so yet, for your end of the year Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Rap, whatever, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, click the thumbs up, leave a comment. All that good stuff helps us. I know that YouTube is now the #1 provider of podcasts in the world, but I still, iTunes, Spotify, because I'm driving or walking between meetings in the hospital complex or walking the dog. So I still listen to a lot of podcasts as well, just straight up from the phone. So if you do that, please, like, subscribe, share. Shout out to our super chat, superstar givers as well. You guys are great. And become a member over at youtube.com/@Mile High Huddle. That helps us a heck of a lot as well. Always a lot of fun. You guys are great. Appreciate you. Like I said, click the thumbs up on the way out. If there's anything that Eric and I hit on that you really disagree with, or you think, Nick, you're an idiot, or your dog stinks, I don't know, something like that, hit me. Don't come for my dog. You can come after me. You can come after my wife. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I should have ended it before I said that. But appreciate everyone coming on here. Always fun, Eric. And we will see you guys again soon. 10 wins in a row. I just want to begin 2 more things. 10 wins in a row is really hard. So I know that, some people make the Broncos phonies or whatever. It's hard to win 10 in a row. Denver hasn't lost since week 3, mid-September. This is rare to see. Even all-time great teams don't get 10 wins in a row. So it's really miraculous right now. The turnaround from Russell Wilson, what's going on here, just really try to, we're in the thankful season, still gratitude season. Be thankful for what this team is doing. Buy into the vibes. Maybe they'll let you down in the end, but what's the point of even being a fan if you're not buying in and having a good time? And just really appreciate it right now. Also wanted to give a shout out for just given this time of year, the suicide hotline as well. You can text 988, call 988. And if you ever feel like you are, in a bad place, it's temporary. The world's a lot better with you in it. So reach out to us and utilize the suicide hotline as well if you're having a hard time. Holidays can be rough. I know that. So we got Common Sense saying Broncos suck. Week schedule. Well, it is week 14, using the wrong week there. Common Sense obviously has no spelling sense. But I do like the Hank Hill. So we'll let you stick around here as well.
Can I just say one thing before we get out of here?
Yeah.
Denver Luke, thanks for joining in. Hope you tuned in and watched the Friday night show. We did a mock draft just for you.
Oh, heck yeah. You took Jennings Dunker, right? You took Jennings Dunker, right?
No.
Jennings Dunker. Eric, come on.
No.
He's beautiful.
I immediately just ruled him out because he went to Iowa,
Oh, well.
I have a reputation to uphold. No Iowa players, right?
That's hurtful. That's personal and it's hurtful. Appreciate you guys.
Iowa.
Have a good one. Go Broncos. Kindness, compassion. See you later.